Today, children and obesity. It's a problem growing as quickly as kids' waistlines, and it brings with it a wide range of health problems. Joining me now to talk about it is Dr. Jay Cohen of the Endocrine Clinic. Dr. Cohen, thanks so much for joining us.
And thank you for having me on Smart Medicine.
Tell me how you define childhood obesity.
Obesity, by definition, is based on some old definitions from 20 years ago on what's greater than 3% on body weight compared to the general population. Right now, it's 15% of the kids, while it used to be just 3% of the kids 20 years ago are over that amount of weight for their age.
Put this in perspective. Tell me how big a problem it really is.
About 20 years ago, 4 states in the country had over 10% of their people that were overweight. Now, 49 out of 50 states have more than 10% of their people being overweight.
And where do we fall in that here in the Mid-South?
Well, in the Mid-South, we're number 1, 2, and 4. Tennessee, Mississippi, and Louisiana. We're number 4, 1, 2, and 4. And why that's important is because it's not just that we have cute kids who are overweight, but these overweight kids now we're seeing have high blood pressure, are developing diabetes, and these are things that we didn't see until kids were adults and were in their 30s and 40s. We're now seeing them in teenagers and in preteens.
What factors are contributing to obese children?
Probably a combination of that good old balance of not enough exercise and too much eating. And we're not just eating too much, but it's the type of foods we eat, and our exercise patterns have changed dramatically. When we were kids, after school, we'd run around in front of the yard and play with all of our friends. Now there's nobody in the front yards. People are being driven to activities 1 or 2 days a week, and then they're driven home. How many kids walk to school or ride their bikes to school? Things that as parents we took for granted, now for a variety of reasons we're not doing.
Are certain populations at greater risk?
Yes, that is true. We find that our African American population, Hispanic population, does seem to have a much higher percentage of obesity, hypertension, and type 2 diabetes, and not just in adults, in kids as well.
What are the long-term effects of this?
We used to think that people only had heart attacks and strokes when they were in their 50s and 60s. Now we're seeing teens having heart attacks and strokes. We want to prevent that from happening. But to do it, it's not a matter of just taking a pill. It's a matter of really getting into action and changing the types of food behaviors that we have, as well as our exercise patterns, and make it an everyday occurrence.
What can parents do to change this?
Well, part of it is sitting down with the family together and say, you know what, let's do some different things and let's do it together. We need to, first, let's scour the house. Do we have any sugar-containing liquids in the house? Not just Coca-Colas and carbonated beverages, but even tea, orange juice, apple juice, grape juice, juices as a whole. Let's get all the sugar liquids out of the house. Nobody needs to drink those. There's no place for them in a diet. And let's change what our food patterns are. Can we sit down and have no food on the kitchen table except what's on our plate? Put the rest of the food over on the stove area, because once you've finished your plate, that's it. It shouldn't be going for seconds and thirds when it's right in front of us. Have a rule where you're not allowed to watch TV when you're eating. We don't realize it, but we eat more when we're watching TV. We're not looking down at our plates or looking in our bag of chips. So if we have the TV off, it helps to talk more in the family instead of eating more in the family.
Dr. Cohen, great advice. Thanks so much for joining us.